he is unwilling to do a 60 Minutes interview. Like every other major party candidate has done for more than half a century.
That was on the campaign, and former Vice President Kamala Harris said Donald Trump was afraid to do an interview with 60 Minutes on CBS. Donald Trump refused to sit for that interview. Kamala Harris sat for the interview. And then right before the election, Donald Trump sued CBS for $10 billion. Donald Trump judge shopped for a pro-MAGA federal judge in Texas, a judge named Matthew Kacsmaryk. Trump filed the case there. And then when Trump won the election, he pursued his petty grievances against CBS because he believes CBS embarrassed him by doing an interview with now former Vice President Kamala Harris and then wanting to fact check Donald Trump. Donald Trump claimed that CBS selectively edited their interview with Vice President Kamala Harris, which was and is entirely false. But Donald Trump filed the most bogus lawsuit saying that it was an unfair business practice in Texas, and that's why he was judge shopping there. Well, let me tell you what Donald Trump is doing right now, something I believe is, in my opinion, entirely unlawful. So let's be clear, as egg prices are shooting up higher than ever, as groceries are going higher, as gas prices are going on, as unions are being screwed, as Elon Musk is taking over federal agencies, seizing potentially government data, freezing federal employees out of their own systems, gutting key agencies, forcing out the head of the FAA, as we're seeing like now plane crashes happening almost on a daily basis. Donald Trump has now ordered the FCC to open up a formal inquiry against CBS and 60 Minutes, which is owned by Paramount, demanding they comply with a series of requests by the government. So Donald Trump is in a private lawsuit against CBS in federal court in Texas. He and CBS, which is owned by Paramount, asked that pro-Trump judge in Texas to delay proceedings in Texas while so-called settlement talks are taking place. So Paramount is trying to sell itself to another oligarchical company for tens of billions of dollars. And they know that that requires DOJ approval of a merger or acquisition. Trump and the DOJ are likely indicating they will block that merger. And also, CBS and Paramount think that, that if Donald Trump pursues investigations against them from the FCC, that will also work to stop the merger that the parent company of CBS, that Paramount is trying to engage in. So while these private settlement talks are taking place, Trump has the FCC send a letter to Paramount ordering that they turn over information about the interview with Kamala Harris that Donald Trump was afraid to do. And what we're learning from the New York Times is that CBS News is set to hand over now the transcript of the 60 Minutes interview to the FCC, which it previously would not do. Now, obviously, Donald Trump has forced Meta, previously Facebook, to settle a personal grievance lawsuit that Donald Trump filed against them for $25 million. Purportedly, $23 million is going to go to a future library. Trump got ABC to settle for $15 million. And now his latest target is CBS. And he's obsessing over Kamala Harris right now. So as, again, planes are crashing, okay, as America is far less safe. We all feel less safe as a result of Donald Trump. He's having the FCC pursue some that he felt humiliated by Kamala Harris. What a pathetic, weak individual. But if you were following the campaign, as we were reporting on this, Trump consistently said that this is what he was going to do. October 21, 2024, Trump says he wants unchecked power to take CBS off the air because he doesn't like 60 Minutes. Play the clip.
Think of it, 60 Minutes CBS, and they ought to lose their license and they ought to take it off the air. It's the biggest.
October 6, 2024, Trump says he's going to make 60 Minutes apologize to him for fact-checking his lies. Play the clip.
Ah, it's terrible. So we're waiting for an apology. They want to do it again. I'll do it again, but they got to. Don't you think I should make them apologize?
Here was an interview we played. This was of Howard Stern and Vice President Kamala Harris, where they talked about the 60 Minutes issue. This is October 8th, 2024. Here, play this clip.
You're coming here. You went on The View this morning. Yeah. You're going to the shows. You did 60 Minutes. By the way, I thought what was so amazing about 60 Minutes is the fact that Trump turned it down.
Yeah.
I mean, it just says so much. He didn't want to be fact-checked. This is maddening. This is insanity. What do you mean you don't want to be fact-checked?
I think that, Howard, people ask me, what do you think is going on and what is the tension here? What's at stake? And there are many things, and I can be much more articulate than what I'm going to say. But ultimately, I do believe that this is an election that is about strength versus weakness.
Yeah.
And weakness as projected by someone who puts himself in front of the American people and does not have the strength to stand in defense of their needs, their dreams, their desires, the work that must happen to make sure that we are a secure nation, that we are nurturing and protecting our alliances around the world, that we are supporting America's military, that we are fighting to bring the cost of living down for working families, that we are building businesses, building growth.
And this is October 20th, 2024. Donald Trump, play the clip.
But you go a step further and you say CBS should lose its license. Why?
Sure. Well, I've never seen anything like it. She gave a horrible, incompetent answer on a news program. It's not an entertainment program. They call it news. They say it's a #1 news program.
Now, one of the things an FCC commissioner who is livid at the fact that the Republican-led FCC is pushing a formal investigation of CBS. Here's what Ana Gomez says. Let's be clear. This is a retaliatory move by the government against broadcasters whose content or coverage is perceived to be unfavorable. It is designed to instill fear in broadcast stations and influence a network's editorial decision. This is an FCC commissioner, by the way, a whistleblower saying this is what's going on. During these last 2 weeks, the FCC has shown a concerning pattern of implementing the will of the administration on issues that go far beyond our core responsibilities. These actions disregard long-standing norms and ignore the mandate granted by Congress to the FCC to act as an independent agency. They also set a dangerous precedent that threatens to undermine trust in the agency's role as an impartial regulator. This latest action to weaponize our broadcast licensing authority is no different. It revives a complaint that had been previously dismissed by FCC experts due to lack of evidence and because it fell far short of the high standard needed for agency action. She goes on to say, let's be clear, this is a retaliatory move, and the Communications Act clearly prohibits the Commission from censoring broadcasts, and the First Amendment protects journalistic decisions against government intimidation. We must respect the rule of law, uphold the Constitution, and safeguard the public trust for broad.
These defendants conspired to use force to prevent fellow citizens from exercising rights protecting by law, said U.S. Attorney Matthew Graves for the District of Columbia in a press release. People cannot resort to using force and intimidation to prevent others from engaging the lawful activity simply because they disagree with the law. The FACE Act, passed in 1994, prohibits threats, obstruction, and property damage intended to interfere with reproductive health care service. The law was enacted during a period of increasing protests and violence against abortion providers, including the 1993 murder of Dr. Devon Gunn.